I'm Devin Alexander, the Biggest Loser chef for the hit show on NBC. I've written all of the Biggest Loser cookbooks. I'm here at the Biggest Loser Resort ready to answer all your questions. Okay, one of the questions we got is, do I have any recipes for fat-free or low-fat salad dressings? I honestly don't believe in eating fat-free salad dressings. They often have a lot of high fructose corn syrup, so let's nix that one. As for low-fat, one of my favorite is to take salsa and the fresh stuff, the stuff with all the cut up tomatoes in it, and add plenty of lime juice and just a tiny bit of olive oil, like a teaspoon for a serving, and then throw that on your salad. It's really, really flavorful. Otherwise, I personally have a lot of lemon juice with just a little bit of olive oil again. You can also make a dressing out of like a balsamic vinegar with a little bit of Dijon mustard, a tiny bit of honey, and then just a little bit of olive oil. Just be careful that you don't put too much oil in them, but those will get you started. And if you want to go the extra mile, throw some basil in that balsamic one I did at the end. That'll give it an extra brightness and punch of flavor that'll make it taste really fresh. Okay, now we got a question from someone allergic to tomatoes who loves to eat pasta and wants to know what the alternatives are. Well, one of the things that I love to do is to make a red pepper coulis. If you don't know what that is, roast red peppers and then take the skins off, process it all in your food processor with just a touch of olive oil, some garlic, throw some salt and pepper in there, and any other spices you like. You could do basil, you could do, even rosemary might be okay, whatever you like, but that will make a great sauce. If you want it a little creamy, throw in some fat-free Greek yogurt. That can always be good. And then some other alternates are, I make a mustard sauce, which is mustard, Greek yogurt, again, tiny bit of olive oil. You want to stick light on that. Some garlic in that is always good. It is Italian after all, some onions. Another alternative for a pasta sauce would be like a broccoli pesto, where it's broccoli with a little bit of Greek yogurt, all processed. You cook the broccoli and then chop it up in a food processor really finely, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of olive oil, some vegetable broth to make it nice and creamy, and plenty of basil. And that makes a great alternative to pesto. But a lot of people do the plain basil pesto, but that takes so much oil. So you want to steer clear of that for sure. Our next question is, what is the best oil to use for grilling or sauteing? I primarily use olive oil, extra virgin, because that's the most pure, or I use avocado oil. Avocado oil is good if you're doing something like a stir fry because it's just as natural as olive oil, but there's a much higher smoking point, which means that you could get something hot enough to put it in a wok and it's not going to smoke on you, whereas olive oil is going to degrade if you do that. Some of you are wondering if there's any great lunch suggestions when you're at work. You know what, I actually like making omelets and then packing them up and reheating them. They work out really well. Or, don't think of lunch as lunch. Think of it as an opportunity to have those amazing leftovers. So you could make a turkey chili, a chipotle, really something smoky that's gonna be so warm and satisfying in the middle of your day. You could make a Chinese pepper steak. But just think about what tastes good left over and then make extra of that. The other thing is you can always, on Sunday night, make a London broil and a turkey roast, cube that up and make a great hot and cold brown rice salad. Just reheat the brown rice at work and then put all the cold veggies and chicken in it, and it can be delicious. Next question is, what is the best fake sugar to use? You know what, you really want to try to stay away from artificial sweeteners. The best is probably stevia. The other thing is new on the market is a monk fruit extract, which is something like 300 times or 600 times more sweet than sugar. Start looking for that because that's another all-natural one, and I think it's going to be coming up soon. Next question is, what are some of the easy healthy substitutes I can make in recipes? You know what, this one I could go on for days. The one thing that I caution is if you're not really familiar with doing these, really start by using a cookbook. Doesn't even have to be mine, but just ask your friends, whose healthy food do they love? Because the problem is, if I tell you, substitute turkey for beef, the problem is that you might take your grandmother's favorite recipe that she's handed down from generations to generations and put turkey instead of the beef and then decide, because of course it's going to taste terrible because you didn't season it differently, you didn't texturize it, that you don't like turkey meatloaf. When the truth is that turkey meatloaf can be out of this world amazing, but if you just go and make a substitution like that, it's not going to be. So again, there's things like, obviously, substitute, if you love real bacon, substitute center cut. It's a lot meatier, 30 to 40% less fat. If you are baking, you can often use 2 egg whites instead of 1 whole egg. But all those tips about, use applesauce instead of oil and, as I said, the meat substitutes and things, it's just really tough. So it's much better to let someone like me do the work for you and then follow the recipes until you start having the time to really play by yourself. Now the next person wants to start a healthy lifestyle and doesn't know where to start. We've all been in this place. Believe me, when I was 70 pounds heavier, it was like, oh my God, so overwhelming. To be honest, the best thing in the world you can possibly do is to commit to cooking for yourself. You can save so much fat and so many calories by literally doing things that restaurants would never do, such as, if I ask for an egg white omelet in a restaurant, I can pretty much guarantee you they're gonna put at least 100 calories worth of butter in the pan before I even ask for it. So by doing that yourself, you could take that 100 calories and put a little bit of goat cheese in it. And actually a whole ounce of goat cheese is only 90 calories. Some of the other things, you literally, sometimes you go and you get the grilled chicken breast sandwich and you're like, I'm doing great. Except you open the bun and you find that there's butter or lard on the bun. So really focus on, when you are going out, to check and make sure you're really eating what you want to be eating and they're not throwing extra things in there. But really eating at home, 20 minutes in your kitchen can save you 3 hours on a Stairmaster or a treadmill. And if you ask me, that's well worth it.